All right, Jinx items in season 25. This is gonna be an interesting topic to talk about because, as you can see here, there's many options. There's many options. So let's start with starter items. Right. First of all, of course, you go Doran, potion, whatever, level 1, refillable if you want, now and there. Good. What do you start with? Do you start static shift? Do you start Kraken? Do you start like Yuntal? Do you start Kraken's there? Do you start Essence River? No, we don't start Essence River. Not good on Jinx. But basically, also we should add the fact that you could start Infinity Edge into Runan. You could go BF Pickaxe into Runan, into Infinity Edge. So you see how many starting options you have? Let's actually put this here instead. So you could start this, you could start that, or that. It's like, it's crazy how many options you have right now on Jinx. You know? It's kind of crazy. Would you go Doran Shield if you're against Poke and Mage? No, I wouldn't. Because I feel like Doran Blade is just that good. And the life steal will help you sustain anyway. And if you're juggle ganks, you want to have damage to kill them. You just gotta try to avoid enemy poke as much as possible, right? Okay. So what do you start with? Well, let's right now explore two alternate realities. One in which we are Powder and one in which we are Jinx. No, I'm joking. One in which we are early game and one in which we play for late game, basically, right? Season 25 means games might be longer. We took a look at the changes, and the changes say that games should be less snowbally, balance spawns at minute 25. Games should be longer on average, okay? Which means maybe late game is better. Recently, I've been playing with like Static Shiv and Kraken, and like I've been having fun with Jinx and not going instantly 100% crit. And that's because my games were like ending in 15-20 minutes. That's why I really liked Static Shiv. Very cheap. You buy it early, helps your early game like crazy. Amazing. And then you just go crit. That's what I've been doing, right? So the way I'm gonna do this, let's go for both universes, basically. And in the, let's say we play for early game universe, we go static into crit. Like static into LDR, Infinity, maybe Runan after that. This is the build I've been using. It was very nice, right? But I feel like this build I've been doing works for some people, but a lot of people also told me, hey Tony, this build doesn't work as well. It's not for me. I feel like I get to scale anyway. I don't deal as much damage if I go static, which is fair. Okay? So I feel like I talked enough about static shift builds. I feel like I just talk so much. And it's crazy. Right? So I don't want to explore the early game universe anymore because I already kind of found every cave and everything that's in the early game universe. You go static shift into LDR, Infinity, Runa. Cool. Right? So instead, okay, let's just remove static shift from here. And let's talk about Tony. Games are probably going to be longer. I'm not freaking Master Plus. I gonna scale. I want to play for late game. How do I become strongest? What build should I go to become the strongest? That's what I want to talk about right now. I think this is very important and I want to test this as well. Season starts. I want to go full crit. That is my plan. I will not go static shift. I want to go full crit because I believe, it's just a guess, hopefully I'm right, the fact that games will be longer on average. Okay, what are your thoughts on Hullbreaker? People are bored, people are go Hullbreaker, let them do it. I was bored, I went static shift, let me do it. That's my thoughts. Works well in very high-elo games, especially Korea when games are very short. Doesn't work well for most people. That's my opinion on it. Okay, most people should do this, which is go full crit, because you usually get to scale. If you're an average league player, you get to scale, right? So, season starts, I'll try to go late game, basically. That's gonna be what I'm gonna do, right? So, late game means we go full crit from the start. First item is crit, okay? When it comes to crit items, starter crit items, or like, let's do another variant. Starter crit items and other starting possibilities that you have on Jinx, right? Because on Jinx, you have multiple like builds available to you right now. You could start Yuntal. You could start Collector. You could start Essence River, not really. I don't think Essence River is that good. I don't think that's an option. You could do it if you want, if you're crazy, sure, no problem. I used to do it, it was nice, but I felt like I didn't do as much damage. So Yuntal start, Collector start is still good. Unexpected Error. Infinity Edge is good. BF Sword pickaxe into Runan and then finish Infinity Edge is good, right? So basically we have 4 options. Now, how do we decide which option is best for us? You know? So, let's say enemy team has like kind of squishy-ish enemies. They don't really have a giga tank like Cassante, for example, right? So you could go Collector. Why? Because it's better against squishes. You have the lethality. It's cool, it's better early game, right? You buy it and you have a nice spike. You could snowball from it. Collector into like Runan, into Infinity Edge. You might not even want Runan. You could go Collector into Infinity Edge if you want. If you don't care about attack speed, you have attack speed boots. If you win the feats of strength, you could get more attack speed from boots. So you might not even need to buy attack speed. You could go Collector, Infinity, maybe a Zeal item. You don't want Runan because you think you get no value. Enemies are not gonna group. There are no melees. You could go Phantom Dust. You could go Rapid Fire. Is also an option. You could go every now and then. Why the hell not, right? That's a build you could go against squishy teams. Okay? You could do that. I think that's fine. You know, and then last item you could build after this. Of course, you buy LDR, a Zeal item, right? And the last item, I'm going to talk about every build, last item being one of these, right? The way I think we should play Jinx is buy boots and non-crit build, not crit item at the end. Beat him most of the time against Assassin's Guardian Angel, against Mages more. And then, before that, you just buy 4 crit items. That's the easiest way to play Jinx. And maybe every ADC that has crit. It's the most straightforward, the most DPS. It's very nice, right? So, Collector, Infinity, or Collector, Zeal, LDR, Infinity, whatever. That's one build you could do, right? Personally, I don't know. I'm not a very big fan of Collector, right? Because if you're going full crit anyway, might as well just go, you know, scaling and stuff. If you want to go Collector, like you could, but at that point, you're kind of playing for early game, might as well go static ship build in a way, you know? But again, don't deny Collector. I feel like Collector is a good item. You know, if you really like the executes and you think you can snowball, I think you should go Collector every game regardless of the team comp. I think that's fine. Okay? I think it's just fine. Cool. Now, let's talk about Yuntal start. The most controversial. Also, I'm going to talk about item build paths. Collector build path is very amazing. It just costs 3,000, which is quite a bit, but it's fine. Right? It's okay. It's a very nice build path. Only problem is the Cloak of Agility, which is annoying, right? But it's fine. Cool. Yuntal. Build path horrible. BF sword. Oh my god. Why does it have to be a BF sword? Why? Can't you put a pickaxe here? Why? Right? So Yuntal, right? Yuntal is a very, very, very good cost gold efficient item. Basically, you pay 2,900 for a lot of stats. A ton of attack damage, attack speed, especially when your passive is active, and 25 crit as well on top of that when you stack it. And stacking this item takes very little time. Maximum 5 minutes, and you got this item stacked. Before you buy your second item, you have this stacked, right? So right now, this is the most popular build on Jinx. Yuntal, Infinity, Lord Dominic's / Runan. You buy those other 2 items in which order you think is better. If they have Giga Tango, LDR for the armor. If not, you can go Runan. If you don't like Runan, go Phantom or Rapid Fire. That's fine as well. No problem, right? So that's basically what people build. And that's a solid build in my opinion, right? The only downside is, you know, again, the build path, buying BF is annoying, but whatever, if you can live with that. You buy Yuntal, and I like Collector, you're not that strong, you know? Yuntal doesn't really give you a lot of damage by itself. It really doesn't. It's more of a stepping stone, more of a scaling item, right? Yuntal, it's amazing once you have Infinity Edge, the second item, which costs a lot, right? But it is what it is, you know? So, yeah. If you're going Yuntal, you need to be prepared to just not be strong when you buy it and just scale. Be strong from like the second item, okay? That's something you need to keep in mind. And this is something I really don't like as much, right? But again, if games are longer, maybe it's less of a problem, so I might be willing to accept it. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll look at our options, right? Then we're going to choose what I like the most, for example, right? Cool. So yeah, that's a solid build. That's the most common build right now. Jinx, just Yuntal, Infinity, LDR, Runan, and one of these, right? Cool. Next, right? Next, we have the option of going Infinity first item, right? So I did this a lot, like a few weeks ago. And let me tell you this, it's good. It costs a lot. The build path, horrible. BF, pickaxe, and crit cloak. No long swords, no daggers. What? Like, no, it's so annoying, right? Oh yeah? So you could do this, you could rush Infinity Edge into like Runan and LDR and then like second zeal item, crazy, but you could do it, but I don't recommend it. You should just buy like a shield bow instead, right? But one cool thing about this build is that there's a variation to it, which is, I also tried this a lot. You buy BF sword first base if you can afford it. If not, you buy a pickaxe, and maybe next base you can just buy a BF sword. And after you have pickaxe and BF sword, you realize that, wait, this is 65 attack damage. Infinity is 70 attack damage. So you pay over 1,000 gold to combine the pickaxe and BF sword into 5 more AD and then some crit, which is not helpful because when you have Infinity first item, you don't crit a lot in the first place, on top of it being very expensive. So it's like, do you even need to get Infinity rush? Do you have to rush this item? Can you just buy BF pickaxe, which is a lot of AD, 65, more than Collector or Yuntal? And after this, you just get your boots, you get your Runan, and it's like you have Runan with 65 AD, which is amazing, feels good. You have AoE, it's amazing. And then you just buy your Infinity after it. Right, this is my favorite variation of this, because Infinity first feels a bit sluggish, right? But again, this doesn't solve the problem of BF Sword, right? I feel like Jinx right now, unless you go Collector, you are cursed by the BF sword, be it Yuntal or Infinity or the Infinity variation. Okay, you are cursed by the BF sword, and unfortunately, I think we have to live with it. I wish Riot didn't make us buy BF sword early. I think it's horrible. Imagine a mage player. You have a mage player buying the Needle Steel Large Rod. They are gonna complain like crazy. They will complain all day. Oh my god, they are gonna complain. ADCs though, for some reason it's okay to buy BF sword on ADCs because somehow they get more gold magically. They have the same lane minions, the same amount, and they're weak early game and they're supposed to get more gold early game to buy this. You know, it's a bit absurd, but you know, complaining, you know, is not really gonna help. It's just gonna adapt. It is what it is. I like complaining about the game though because I love the game so much, so I'm gonna complain. You know, I want changes to happen if something is not cool for me, right? But yeah, so hey, if you really care about build paths, so not go Collector and you don't have to worry about anything, right? And I think this is valid. No problem, right? But personally, you know, Collector is more of a like snowbally caster. You press W, you have to land it, and ultimate type of playstyle, which I don't enjoy as much. And you have less attack speed going for it, you know? I enjoy it less. So personally, I really don't like it, but you can go for it if you want, right? So I'm going to remove it from here because I don't think I want to go for it, right? I'm basically removing the options I really don't want to go for. So I'm stuck with, do I go Yuntal first, right, into Infinity? Because, by the way, there's an option I didn't talk about, which is Yuntal into Runan. So when Yuntal got reworked, I used to go Yuntal into Runan a lot, okay? I used to go for this a lot, you know? Yuntal, Runan, Infinity LDR. Big, right? But the problem I had is the fact that Yuntal is only 50 attack damage. Runan gives no attack damage. So, yeah, I'm stuck there shooting pebbles at the enemies. Similar reason why Kraken, spell Kraken is 45 attack damage, and then you buy Zeal item like Phantom Dancer. It's not good. This used to be so popular. I don't know why. You have no attack damage. You shoot pebbles at the enemies. It's so annoying, right? So this is why, like, going Yuntal Runan, I really don't want to go Yuntal Runan anymore, right? Old Yuntal, which was basically Infinity Edge at home, was good, but the current Yuntal is not good with Runan second, right? So this option, I don't want to do it anymore. I just feel like I don't deal damage. I feel like I shoot pebbles at the enemies. I just doesn't feel good, right? One thing you could do is like buy Yuntal, and if you can afford it, buy BF or pickaxe. Alright, then finish Runan and then Infinity Edge. This is something that might be good. But at this point, I mean, might as well just finish Infinity. I don't know, right? You see what I mean? It's like, damn, like, I really, it's like, it's so annoying, you know? So, yeah. Like, right now, there's like no real way to make Runan early on Jinx a thing. Unless you are willing to just not go Yuntal. I go BF, pickaxe, into Runan. Into Infinity Edge. Right? Which is a build I really enjoy. You know? And so what I do these days is Runan first item after buying BF pickaxe. Yeah. Exactly. Right? This is something, this is the build I like the most. You know? Like, Yuntal into Infinity Edge is a good build. But I don't like the fact that you don't get to buy Zeal item. You know, because you go Yuntal Infinity, then of course you go LDR. It's like... and you don't get to buy Runan early, which is annoying. So it's like, how about you just... Let's talk about the strongest items on Jinx. Infinity Edge, we have to agree is the only item that gives crit damage. Lord Dominic's armor pen percentage is insane. It's the only tool we have to deal with tanks. And then it's like, yeah, those two are the most important. You see them in every single Jinx build. Every Collector start, Infinity start, Yuntal start, Essence River start, anything. Even freaking Kraken start. Infinity LDR are in the build. Every time. And then, in my opinion, Zeal items, especially Runan. No Zeal items, Runan. Runan has the potential to destroy the enemy team like no other item. It could double your damage. It's insane. Right? So I have something like a bias towards Runan Hurricane. It's just that good. It's so fun to use. To me, League of Legends is a fun game. I want to have fun. Why am I playing the game if I'm not having fun? Right? So it's like, okay, let's say Infinity, LDR, and Runan are the three most powerful items on Jinx. Then why do I have to buy Yuntal? Can't I just go BF, pickaxe, Runan, Infinity, LDR? Boom! The three most powerful items on Jinx. Bought at the start. You don't have to delay like Infinity or Runan or LDR because you have to go stupid starter item, be it Yuntal or Collector, or you don't have to do that. Get your most powerful items at the start. Right? But of course, no build is perfect. Every build has ups and downs. And now if you're curious what's the down of this build, is the fact that, you know, you buy your BF, you buy your pickaxe, you buy like a slingshot, a Zeal. You have no completed item yet. You know, it's kind of like, damn, you're walking around with no completed item. What the heck are you doing? That is one item of nothing. Well, you know, it is what it is. Oh well, personally, I don't care as much because I get to buy my Runan so early. Right? This build allows you to buy Runan the earliest. I have a bias towards Runan. So personally, like, I like this build the most. You know, this is the most fun build for me. Right? And again, if you don't like it, going Yuntal Infinity, great build. Going Collector Runan, Collector Infinity, great build. Going Static Shiv, LDR Infinity, great build. Going Kraken Infinity, great build. You just have so many options. You should just pick your favorite. Personally, BF, pickaxe, Runan, Infinity, LDR. That's my favorite. That's it. Yeah, like it's just so good, right? I tried the variation of buying Infinity first. Come on, like 5 extra AD, I don't like it. You have to rely on crit, is very annoying. So, like, personally, this is what I will do when the season starts. This is what I want to do. You don't have to do it if you want, but personally, out of testing, getting every game and so on, I want to move to trying to play for late game. Games should be hopefully be longer. and I want to play to scale again. I don't want to flip the fights anymore. I don't want to have to like roam to void grabs all the time anymore. It's very annoying. I try to adapt and change the builds and runes and everything. I really don't want to do it anymore, man. It's so annoying, right? So what I want to do instead is play for myself, play to scale, never surrender, get my items, get the highest DPS build I can get with the fun items and the important items, right? So this is the item build order, right? First recall, I could afford BF. I buy BF. Oh, I can't afford BF? No problem. We just buy pickaxe. First recall. Oh, you don't have money for pickaxe, you have 500 gold? No problem, I got you. You can buy a cull. I'm gonna add cull here, right? Put this like on slot number 7. This is how I usually just put this on number 2. This is gonna be like number 3. Number 3. Cool. Right? First base by BF, no money by pickaxe, no money by cull. That's first base. Cool. Second base. If you have BF, okay, you buy pickaxe. No money for pickaxe, no problem. You could buy cull or whatever, right? Or if you've got pickaxe, let's say, second base you have pickaxe, but you don't have money for BF. You could either like maybe buy cull from some extra AD. By the way, attack damage early game is better than attack speed. That's why you want to prioritize BF and pickaxe. Attack damage early is better than attack speed. So if you have money to buy BF or pickaxe, buy them. Don't hesitate. Buy them every time, right? This is why cull is a good option if you legit have no like longsword. This at least gives you some attack damage. And again, if I play to scale, cull is a good scaling item. It's good, right? Like, I really want to go back to my fantasy of I play to late game, I play late game for late game for late game. I want to play for late game. I had enough fun with static shiva, late game runes and everything. I want to play for late game. Okay? So this is what I think you should do as well if you want a late game and so on. And this is what I'm going to do, right? But, you know, let's say you already have this, you got pickaxe, but you can't afford... sorry, you got BF, you can't afford pickaxe, right? What you could do already is start building towards Runan. This is what's cool about this build. Oh, you recall you can't afford maybe one of these. Okay, buy a cull, and then you could buy a dagger. Cool? There's like you could buy a dagger. Cool, right? But basically, I'll show you the item order, the optimal item order, and then you can kind of adapt. Right? BF, pickaxe, into the slingshot, into a dagger, into the zeal. Okay? So basically, you don't want to buy crit early game with this build until you have like rune on infinity. So basically early game, for most of your early game, you will not have any crit. And you know why that's okay? It's because like early game crit makes it so annoying to farm. It's so freaking annoying to just farm when you have crit early game. Just want to hit a minion twice, because you know you're killing 2 basic attacks. You hit it twice, once, you crit, the minions hit it a little bit, you lost cannon minion. It's so frustrating, right? So this is why Yuntal is also kind of interesting, because Yuntal gives you no crit early game, right? But again, it has the other problems I just don't like. You know, it's annoying. It delays my run and stuff. Okay? So yeah. And basically after the like slingshot and dagger, you just buy your zeal, right? You buy your runan, and then after you have your runan, like a crit cloak, and then infinity edge. Yeah. This is the item order, the optimal. And if you can't afford this or this, just buy a cull. If you have money for cull, but you can't buy this or this, buy cull. Right? Right? Like, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay? Don't hesitate to buy cull if you legit can't afford BF or pickaxe. This is the easiest way to implement this, right? And it's kind of cool that you get cull as well, which gives you more gold in the scaling. Right? Cool. Right. Now, after you have infinity, of course you go LDR or Mortar Reminder, right? Mortar Reminder, if they have like Zach, Vladimir, Aatrox, like they have like Soraka, you're just gonna go Mortar Reminder, of course, right? No problem. It's okay. Most of the time, the LDR is better, is more armor pen. Right? It's cheaper as well. Don't overthink it. Now, you are 75% crit chance with this build. What do you do after? What crit item do you go to max out your crit? First, let's look at our options, okay? Let's make a new block here. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna call this block like the core. 75% crit. Okay, this is the core. And now it's like 100% crit item. What do we choose? Let's put every other crit item here, and we're just going to look at them and see which one is best. Okay. We have shield bow. Mortar remind I'm just going to remove because we talked about it. Essence river, I guess. Another crit item. And I think these are the remaining crit items in the game. There's no other crit item. Quite confident in that. Collector, sorry. There you go. Perfect. Cool. Right. So, let's see. We buy these 3 items. Rune Infinity LDR. Which item do we use for crit? 100% crit chance. Let's remove the ones that are stupid, first of all, right? So, I put second. My voice is dying. I put second rune under. Oops. Navori. No, we don't go Navori because Navori on Jinx is kind of worthless. Okay, we don't have to talk about why it's bad. Cool. Alright. Double Runan. Sorry, double. I wish I could. Double Zeal. Okay, double these 2 Zeal items. Double Zeal on Jinx. I tested it a lot. It's not great. It's fun. You get movement speed. Yippee, yippee. It's not good. Okay. You can go for it if you want. It's not in the world. My opinion is not good. Rapid fire. Phantom. That's just not good. Right? Then, Essence River. I mean, I think it's one of those cases where this gives you mana, but it's like you lift so much already with no mana generating. It's like you're going to be fine now. And there might be better options. And this doesn't give you much damage. It's just 60 AD and that's it. Right? It doesn't give you a useful passive. Not really. Right? Collector, Yuntal, Shilbo. These are 3 options that are valid. Okay? These are the 3 valid options. Before that, has anyone asked where boots fit in the build path? Yeah, sure. No problem. Right? Boots, you just buy here. BF Sword, Pickaxe, Boots. I should have mentioned that. You are 100% correct. I'm sorry. Right? And let's say you don't go magical footwear. Okay? You buy BF Sword, Pickaxe, you can't afford. You buy Curl, you can't afford this. You can like get here 1 boots as well. And like start building 2 daggers for the boots. Upgrade the boots, move on to this. Okay? That's basically the build path. Right? BF Pickaxe, prioritize BF Pickaxe above all. Once you have BF Pickaxe, get your boots, if you don't have magical boots, and then start work towards the Slingshot, Zeal, Runan, Infinity. Okay? That's how it goes. Right? What about static BF and Pickaxe, Runan, IE? Great question. Static Ship First is a great item, but that's in the universe we are not exploring right now. Right now we are exploring the universe of 100% crit. You go static ship first if you want to play for early game. That's it. Is a Kraken a must-have versus tank team? No, because Kraken is physical damage. It's not true damage. Not good. Okay. So back to our 100% crit chance, right? Item. Collector. In my opinion, I would kind of want to remove this from here. Because like it's only 50 attack damage, 10 lethality, and it doesn't give you that much. You know, the champion kills grant you gold. You don't really care about the gold anymore. It's late game. You only need 1 item more. Lethality late game is not that good. Executions are kind of nice, but late game is like you deal a lot of damage on basic attacks as well. You overkill enemies a lot of the times anyway. Doesn't feel as good. Because when we look at the other options, right? Yuntal is same attack damage, but the attack speed is better than lethality late game where you already have Infinity Edge. Infinity Edge, the more you basic attack, the more damage you deal. Right? This gives you attack speed, you attack more rather than lethality, which doesn't do as much. Right? So even late game, Yunta is not bad because it's like it doesn't take long to scale. It's not long, right? But now let's look at the third option, which I think you can kind of see how it makes a bit more sense. And we're going to talk about Bork in a bit, guys. Okay, we're going to talk about Bork. We're going to talk about alternate universe here where you don't go 100% crit because you don't care. And instead you want to take something else. I'll put it here. Okay. So Shilbo now is the other option. We have 100% crit chance. Okay. Now, I could say Shield bow, most of the time, is the best. Why? Because that shield is like above 500 late game. It's pretty good. Like, you get big shield. Could help you. You never know. Great item. Underrated, in my opinion. I wish it was a bit better, but gives you more AD than these two items. Kind of cool. Yuntal. More DPS. Okay, more DPS. And if you, something funny, if you put Yuntal here, for example, right? Or Collector here, it's like you are back to the original build, like Yuntal, Infinity, Runan LDR. It's like, you see how like we build the same items anyway, no matter what really on Jinx when we go full crit. It's just the order, which is different. And if you play for late game, you kind of reach these items. No, doesn't matter anyway, right? Late game. It doesn't matter the order you purchase them in if you reach late game anyway. And so I don't think it's that important which build you prefer on crit. They're all fine. They're all very similar in strength, right? Okay. So, Collector, in my opinion, is just for fun. You can go for it if you want. I'm going to remove it. I don't want it. I'm left with, do I go Yuntal or do I go Shilbo? Which one do I default to? Right? So, what do you guys think? I'm going to ask you these guys. Right? What do you guys think? Because it's such a hard choice to make. Right? But I think this is one of those situations where it's okay to accept the fact that you have multiple options. Okay? Because I'm playing against assassins. I will go Shilbo. Zed, fuck you. Okay, nice. Very good, right? It's like cool. You know, you have Zed, you go Shilbo. They have Rengar, go Shilbo. Depends on the game. They don't have assassins. They have tanks. If they have beefy tanks, Cassante and Zac, you just go Yunta. Because it's more DPS. We all know that, right? Only problem is that it takes even longer to scale, but it's fine, right? Big Shilbo because less ramp up on the crit. Yeah, but gotta remember the fact that I got baited by Yuntal when it was released in this state, because I assumed Yuntal would be a Rod of Ages. And that's what Riot called Yuntal Rod of Ages. Rod of Ages takes 10 minutes to scale. You know? This doesn't take 10 minutes to scale. This takes like 5, maybe. Late game it's even less because you attack everything. You attack minions, you attack jungle camps, you attack everything. It takes even less, right? So the stacking part of Yuntal doesn't really matter. You stack it very quick anyway. Right, it's fine, no problem. You know, it's all good. It's all good. And if you have Runan already, Runan stacks Yuntal faster. Just the trick, you know? So in my opinion, you know, you should have both in your radar. You go Yuntal if you need pure damage. You have team that can peel. You have Lulu. And they have tanks. Go Yuntal. They have Rengar. Talon. Go Shilbo. It might save your life. You never know. Okay? So I think that's where you're at. Right? I think this is what I want to do. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Last item, default to Bloodthirster. If they have assassins, go GA. If they have mages, go Mo. That's simple. Easy. Cool. This is more damage. This is why against tanks is better. Sustain, they have Tormel. This is insane. Against Rammus is insane. Assassins, screw you, assassin by GA. Mages, haha, big shield, magic shield. Okay, now Bork, guys. Bork. Right? Oh my god, Bork. Bork is one of the most controversial items right now on ADC. We have many clips with like Reptile playing Jinx, kiting Tam Kench that's behind like 3 levels and everything and 6 deaths. And he barely wins against the Tam Kench, even though Tam Kench missed every single Q. Right? And W. So. People said Smartest is on the internet, on Reddit, I think, or Twitter, said, oh, but you should have bought Bork because he's a health stacker. I don't know why people don't understand the fact that Bork got giga nerfed many times. It's physical damage. And it's enemy current health, not max health. Okay? Guys, you see this? So it's like Tam Kench gets on top of you. You hit him, you deal big damage with Bork. He's below half HP. It's like this doesn't deal any damage. It's top of being physical. Like, and look at the stats. Yuntal has better stats. Like, come on. It's like, Like, what? You sacrifice your stats for like the own hit effect, which is not even that good. And it's even worse late game. You don't have HP stacking, they also have armor. And it's like, guys, like I really hyped Bork, I think, because I went like static into Kraken, into Bork, and then Terminus, and then I had so much fun. Guys, I'm in the universe where I play 100% crit, okay? I don't have Rage Blade to make Bork proc twice every now and then, okay? This is when it becomes better. Cool? So, hopefully we can all agree that Bork is just not that good, especially on Jinx. On Twitch, Twitch hits full HP targets with the Bork passive being maxed. They're half HP, Twitch presses E now to execute, right? Yeah, that's why it works on Twitch. Jinx, I basic attack, basic. You ult every now and then. I mean, that ult you can miss, cast time, less reliable than Twitch E. It's not the same, right? So, like, if you really think that they're just buying armor, they have 3 hardsteel enemies, go for it. I'm not gonna blame you for it. I'm not gonna blame you for it. But I'd just rather strain the fight with the insane shield and life in attack damage I have. And keep in mind the fact that you lose 40 attack damage compared to going Bloodthirster. The more attack damage you have, the more crit damage you have. Crit scales with your attack damage. So yeah, you might deal some current percent HP damage to them. You lose out on the attack damage, which is more damage per basic attack. Especially if it's like below 5 HP, where Bork is useless now. Okay? So hopefully you can see how Bork is just not good. That's it. Yeah. And if somebody made a good point, if you buy Shilbo, you can buy more. But if they have mages and you die to Seraph ult, you can always buy more. Right? So, by the way, you don't have, if you go your core, you don't have to finish crit. If you feel like they have mages and you die to them, you should go more first. And if you need extra help after that, you can go GA or Bloodthirster. You don't have to finish crit. If you feel like damage is not your priority, you don't have to finish crit. You could go other utility items as well. Okay? That's very important to mention. Don't be afraid to not go 100% crit. Usually it's nice. Again, you stack out that damage for Infinity Edge and everything. More DPS, it's always nice. You don't have to. If the game doesn't allow you to basic attack for free, you should go defense, so you just don't die. Okay? So you can always just just adapt to your current game. Because while ADCs don't have that much variation early game their items, unlike the mythic items which used to exist, you either go Galeforce, Shilbo, or Kraken. You need to kill tanks, you go Kraken. They have assassins, you go Shilbo. They have Blitzcrank, you go Galeforce or mages, right, to dodge stuff. That's a ton of variation we used to have. Now we don't. Now early game you buy damage or you buy damage, otherwise you just buy damage. Because otherwise you don't deal damage, so you're useless. That's how the game is right now. And the build variation right now for crit ADCs are in the last 2 items. That's where the variation is right now. Alright? That's how it is right now. Alright? Because early game you buy damage, it doesn't matter what you build. If you're not careful, you get one shot anyway. You shouldn't buy defensives early. Right? That's your only option. Okay? So you have variation later to build defensive or build more damage and other cool stuff maybe, right? But early game is the same. Okay? So hopefully this clarifies everything about the build. Hopefully, right? Next season starts, I will try to go late game Jinx. As for my runes, I will take the... I really want to go back to like late game runes. Late game. I want to play Jinx for late game. Like in my opinion, Jinx should be a late game champion. The game should be long enough to allow Jinx to scale. The reason I went for early game centered playstyle and build and runes with like static shift and stuff is because I want to adapt to the current game. But next season the game changes completely. So maybe we don't need to do that anymore. Alright. I will give full crit another shot. I'll play for late game again. And we will see if we can climb that way. If we can win, if we can make it work. Personally, I think it's gonna go well. I feel like this build is very well thought out with the runes and everything is like very thought out. We're kind of experimenting with every option. I just don't see how it's gonna go wrong. And for most people, I guarantee that this will work. it's just gonna work. It's gonna be good. Average game length for most people is okay. You get your Gathering Storm, you get your 3 items, no problem, right? The only problem is for myself when I reach like master, high master already, and games become so short, and people fight for those void grams, those top, and it's like I had to kind of adapt. But I want to see what happens if I just don't adapt and just fail from a late game. I play very selfishly, go for that CS, push those mid waves, and play how I'm supposed to play as a late game scaling ADC. That's what I enjoy the most. That's what I want to do. If Riot doesn't allow me to, I don't care, I'm still on it. That's my plan. That's what I will do in the future. Okay?